Hello, my dear students, myself Rita Rani, and today I am again with you with a new chapter Working of Institutions. It is chapter number 5 from Civics section of class 9th. But first of all, I would like to request you all please subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now. Press the bell icon for further notifications. If you like this video, please share it with your friends also. Now, let's move to the chapter. I have divided this chapter into two parts, and this is first one. Here I have mentioned the major topics which I will explain. Office Memorandum, Mandal Commission, political institutions like Parliament along with its two houses, executive, political as well as permanent, Prime Minister and Cabinet Ministers, powers of Prime Minister and President, Judiciary, Supreme Court and High Court. But before explaining these topics, I would like to give you a brief introduction. This chapter is about three main organs of democratic government of our country. To make you understand how these institutions work, a real example of government order which was issued in 1990 has been explained. These three main organs of our government body is legislature, which makes laws, takes decisions and formulates policies. Executive means it implements the decisions or the policies made by legislature. Judiciary is the guardian of constitution. It takes care of law. So now let's move to to study these organs in detail. Actually, in democracy, for each and everything, we give credit to our political leaders or we blame to our political leaders. But behind taking any major decision, making any policy, many people are there. So this we will study in this chapter, how the decisions are taken, how the policies are formed. These institutions play a very important role and they work together to take a major decision, to make major policies. So the first topic is Office Memorandum. Now, my dear students, you all may be thinking that what is the meaning of memorandum? Memorandum means order. Here, office means government, means an order issued by any government office or government authority, and that order tells about the decision which the government takes. In year 1990, on August 13, an order was issued and that order was called Office Memorandum. Actually, every day more than 100 orders are issued by the government offices. There is nothing new in it. But this order is very special, very unique because it created a history. This order was issued after many years' efforts. This was the result of the lots of people's hard work, their efforts. They tried their best to get this order issued, but it couldn't. Finally, it was issued in 1990. And after that, lots of people were against this order and lots of people supported this order also. Now I will tell you the real story behind this major policy decision. Through this I will tell you the story, how this major decision was taken, this major order was issued. In 1979, the government of India appointed a backward class commission. This commission was appointed especially for the betterment, for the upliftment of the people, those who were socially and educationally backward in the society. And this commission was headed by Mr. B.P. Mandal. So that's why this commission was called Mandal Commission also. It gave its reports in 1980. It was appointed in 1979 and gave its report in 1980 and made many recommendations for 27% reservation in government jobs for socially and educationally backward classes. This commission was made especially for the upliftment of the backward people. That is why this commission gave its recommendations that they can be uplifted and their betterment is possible if government should take a step ahead towards them. Government should support them, government should give them some extra help in the form of reservation. If 27% reservation in the government job will be given to them, then they can be uplifted, they can be financially independent and they can improve their financial conditions. So automatically after some time their future generations will grow up. This was discussed for several years in the parliament. Then in 1989 Lok Sabha elections were held, and at that time a political party named Janata Dal, that party promised to implement Mandal Commission recommendations, and Janata Dal came into power. It got majority of the votes, that it came into power, and on 6th August 1990 the Union Cabinet took final decision to implement the recommendations, and the decision of Cabinet was sent to the Department of Personnel and Training. Here the personnel means employed people in any organization. The senior officers of this department drafted an order on 13th August 1990, and this order was called Office Memorandum. So this was Office Memorandum. For many years there was a heated debate. I already told you that after issuing this order, lots of incidents took place. Many people opposed it and many people were there, those who were in its favor also. So there was a heated debate on this decision and finally it reached to Supreme Court. This case was known as Indra Sahani and others versus Union of India case. It was the name of the case. And in 1992 the Supreme Court jury, and in that jury 11 judges were there. They heard the arguments of both the sides, and by a majority means maximum number of the judges, they were satisfied with these recommendations and they declared it valid and recommended few modifications also. So after that this order was issued and the major policy was made, and 27% reservation in the government jobs for those backward people was given. Need for political institutions. After this discussion or after this explanation, you come to know that behind taking any decision or behind the formulation of any policy, only political leaders are not there. Many people are there. Experts people are there. Their advices, their surveys are there. After that, such type of decisions are taken by the government. And in this, our institutions, already I have told you, like judiciary, executives, legislature, they all play very important role. Now the question is why they are needed. Why do we need these political institutions? Actually, in a democratic country, government is responsible for everything. Government is responsible for ensuring security to the citizens. Government is responsible for providing all the basic facilities to the people also. It collects taxes. It spends money on administration and defense development programs. For each and everything government is responsible. It is the responsibility of government only. The PM and cabinet ministers are the institution that take all important decisions. They make all the important policies. After that, the civil servants, they working together are responsible for taking steps to implement these decisions taken by the cabinet ministers or our prime minister, or we can say taken by the parliament. Supreme Court is also an institution where disputes between citizen and the government are finally settled. Institutions involve rules and regulations, and this can bind the hands of leaders. So that is why all these institutions are required in a democracy, because they work together. Only then it is possible to take the right decisions. Like organs in our body are very important, and if any one organ fails to work properly, in the same way fails to work properly, then our body doesn't work. In the same way, if any institution doesn't work properly, then it is not possible for the government also, and it is not possible that right decisions can be taken at the right moment. Or we can say in simple words that if any institution is not working properly, then we cannot expect that our country will be move on the path of development. To go on the path of development, all the institutions should work together and should work properly. Then only government can be called a successful government. Now, I will tell you the three political institutions. Here they are mentioned, like Parliament, which is called legislature, means prime minister, cabinet ministers. They take all important decisions, make policies. After that, executive, our civil servants, when they work together, they execute the plans, they execute the decisions taken by legislature. They are called executives. Then judiciary. Supreme Court is an institution where disputes. Judiciary means Supreme Court along with all the courts at different levels. It is altogether called judiciary. Here Supreme Court is an independent institution, and it has the power to solve the disputes between citizen and the government and finally settled. So it is taking care of law in the country. Now I will explain one by one all these political institutions in detail. So the first one is Parliament. In all the democratic countries, the assembly of elected representatives have all the political powers on the behalf of the people. In our country, this group of elected representatives is called Parliament at national level and Legislative Assembly at state level. Parliament means an elected body of representatives have the supreme authority for making laws in any country. It can make laws, it can change the previous laws, even it can abolish the old laws also. It has a control over those who run the government. Means we think that prime minister is more powerful, cabinet ministers are very powerful. Even they are controlled by Parliament. They cannot take any decision at their own wish. They should get the approval of the Parliament. They should get the support of Parliament. Then only any decision can be taken. It has the control over all the money that government has. Means ministers also have to give the explanations. Even opposition leaders have the right to ask the question on behalf of the public, and those who are in the ruling, they have to answer the questions, they have to report the parliament. So the taxes, the money the government earns, that is controlled by parliament. It is the place of debate and discussions of public issues and national policies. Means each and everything is discussed in the parliament. Then only it it gets approval by the majority members of the parliament. Then only decisions are taken, policies are formulated. Now, I will tell you about the different houses of parliament. As we all know that parliament plays a vital role in democracy. In most of the countries, role and powers of the parliament are divided in two parts, and they are called chambers or houses. One house is directly elected by the people, and the real power, that house has the real power on behalf of the people, and the other house is elected indirectly and performs some special functions, like it looks after the interest of various states. In our country also, parliament has two houses. They are known as Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. President of India is also the part of parliament. She is not the member of either house. All the laws made in the houses come into the force only after the approval of the president. Now, the difference between Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha in our country. Lok Sabha is directly elected by the eligible voters of the country. Means those who have the right to cast their vote, they give their vote, and after that Lok Sabha is formed. While Rajya Sabha members are elected by the elected members, by those people whom we already elected by giving our vote of a state legislative assembly, means MLAs. Time period of Lok Sabha is of 5 years, and while Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, only 1/3 of its strength retire every 2 years. Means after every 2 years, within every 2 years, 1/3 of the members get retirement. So their election are held. After that, same process continues. Lok Sabha's maximum strength is 552 and Rajya Sabha's maximum strength 250. Over money bill, means Lok Sabha has the control over money bill also. Rajya Sabha does not have that much control or power as Lok Sabha has. Lok Sabha grants money for running the administration of the country, while Rajya Sabha does not have this much power. So on the whole, we can say Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. So that's all for this part, my students. The topics which we have discussed in the videos, you can note down these topics in the form of question answers in your notebook. Like, what is office memorandum? When and why was Mandal Commission formed? What is Parliament? What is the difference between Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha? So these questions you can do in your notebook, either in the form of question answer or in the form of notes. Now we will meet in the next part. Till then, do your work, take care of yourself. Bye bye. Thank you very much.